If you want a perfect example of how a democracy gets stress tested in real time, this is it. Today, Senator Sheldon Whitehouse looks Trump's FBI pick, Kash Patel, in the face and basically asks, "Are you going to use federal power to go after political enemies and even the media?" And here's the wild part. Patel doesn't slam the door shut. He tries the classic out-of-context move while the senator comes in with receipts from Trump world itself. You're about to watch a warning siren disguised as a hearing.
Here are some warnings of this nominee's Trump administration colleagues. Former Attorney General Bill Barr said, "This nominee has virtually no experience that would qualify him to serve at the highest level of the world's preeminent law enforcement agency," end quote, "and we would never be able to command the respect necessary to run the day-to-day operations of the Bureau." That's for the deputy position. Former CIA Director Gina Haspel was reported threatening to resign rather than have this nominee serve under her. John Bolton, Trump's former national security advisor, said, "I didn't think he was qualified. I was forced to hire him." Trump's deputy national security advisor, the nominee's former supervisor, said, "His ideas are ludicrous. He's absolutely unqualified for this job. He's untrustworthy. And it's an absolute disgrace to even consider an individual of this nature." That's from Republican appointees who worked with him. And here's what this nominee himself has said about using his office to prosecute journalists. "We will go out and find the conspirators, not just in government, but in the media. We're going to come after you, whether it's criminally or civilly." Is that a correct quotation, Mr. Patel?
Senator, that's a partial quotation.
But it's correct.
In part.
Regarding his publication of his enemies list, Mr. Patel proclaimed, "The manhunt starts tomorrow," and reposted a video depicting him taking a chainsaw to his political enemies. Is that you, Kash Patel, reposting that at the top of that page?
Senator, I have nothing to do with the creation of that meme.
Is that you reposting it, was my question.
And that's me at the top.
You said FBI agents were responsible for the violence on January 6th, and I quote you here, "beyond a reasonable doubt." Is that what you said?
That's completely incorrect, and I appreciate the opportunity to address that.
I'll give you an opportunity in writing, but this is my time now.
Have at it.
An Inspector Attorney General investigation found that that was false. And you said we should impeach judges who rule against Donald Trump, who are, in your words, political terrorists. When this nominee tries to explain all this away, keep one thing in mind. He's testified under oath before a Colorado judge who presided over a Trump case in which he was a witness. And the judge found, and I'm quoting here, he was not a credible witness. His testimony is not only illogical, but completely devoid of any evidence in the record. That's from a judge. This is a dangerous time, and I ask all my colleagues to consider whether these plain comments by this person and by his own Trump administration colleagues should be given a blind eye, just overlooked, or whether, like the warnings of pardoning violent January 6 offenders, they're warnings to be heeded. There is an unfathomable difference between a seeming facade being constructed around this nominee here today and what he has actually done and said in real life when left to his own devices. Conduct shows character. And if you look at history, you see the danger of security chiefs in authoritarian regimes becoming the tools of political power. The characteristics that they often show are that they are vengeful, that they are grandiose, that they are intemperate, that they are partisan and blindly loyal, and that they are servile and won't say no. I'm afraid that the history of this nominee's conduct raises those warnings.
Okay, let's break down what just happened, because this wasn't a normal confirmation hearing moment. That was a stress test. Whitehouse's entire strategy is built on one idea: stop assuming Trump has limits. That's why he opens by framing January 6th and the pardons as a signal, not just a headline. The message is, if you thought he'd never do that, rethink. And then he does something devastatingly effective. He doesn't just attack Patel as a Democrat. He stacks the criticism using Republicans and Trump-appointed national security people. Barr, Bolton, people who are not exactly writing love letters to progressive politics. The point is simple. If even they're sounding the alarm, what does that tell you? But the biggest moment is the trap question about the media. Whitehouse quotes Patel saying, "We're going to come after you," not only in government, but in the media, criminally or civilly. And notice what Patel does. He doesn't give the clean denial that would end the story. He goes, partial quote, correct in part. That's not a hard no. That's a lawyerly dodge. And when you're talking about the FBI, technically correct in part is not reassuring. Then comes the second punch, the enemies list imagery, the repost, the chainsaw video, the vibe of political revenge as content. Whether you love or hate the guy, that's not the energy of neutral, apolitical law enforcement. That's the energy of online faction warfare, with a badge potentially attached to it. And finally, this is my time now. That's not just a meme moment. It's a power moment. Whitehouse is basically saying, I'm not letting you filibuster with vibes and context. I'm putting the record in front of you, and you're going to sit in it. Patel's escape hatch is predictable. Out of context, and I'll depoliticize law enforcement. But here's the problem. Everyone says they'll de-weaponize something right before they decide who gets to hold the weapon. So the real question isn't whether Patel can say the right words in a hearing. He can. The question is, when the pressure comes from Trump world, does he ever say no? Drop your answer in the comments. Is this a legitimate reform pitch or a blueprint for political enforcement with federal power? And if you want more hearings broken down like this, subscribe, because these moments don't look like history while they're happening until it's too late.